there's 12 things that need to be fixed. First is short dash shouldn't be taking key. I thought that was an interesting take. I thought that because then you could box and move and actually fight, like up close.
That is kind of true.
I kind of like that one.
With some issues.
I kind of like that one.
I give that a check mark.
Then he says number 2, Sonic Sway needs to cost a resource like 1 skill point. What's your opinion on that?
Check mark.
Okay. Vanish Wars needs to require more, so it's not just vanishing. Number 3.
All right, repeat that one again.
Vanish Wars needs to require more, so it's not just vanishing. He didn't really explain that too much. I feel like
it almost sounds like it drains more ki than usual. Because I would say this, like the amount of ki that a Z counter vanish does is very like you're barely losing anything with those.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is like, okay, I'm interpreting this with this one in particular with bias, because for me, I really don't like when I see both players, including myself or other people, just vanishing, and then they're out of ki, and then the person with a little bit of ki left hits the other person to the ground, and it ends the play. It's not live anymore. And then the person that ended them down to the ground is obviously getting ki back, and then goes and approaches them and has that advantage. It's just like a very kind of boring way part of the game, like I know it's part of the anime, but it's not really there's something about it not done properly that it's not exciting and it's not interesting,
Here's how they would fix that. Maybe this is where the viewer was trying to get at with this. Have it set up in such a way where you can like vanish countering back is not your only option.
Yeah, that's
in other
perfect.
words, like you can cancel the attack animation.
Yeah.
And either block or do something else. You know what I mean? Just cancel the attack animation. You could back up. You can do some kind of blast or use your skill points to activate some kind of skill, something.
But won't people just go into ki blast and then stun you and then attack you? But that's kind of what you want. You want
that's
boxing.
Another issue too, right? But maybe. I don't know how that would look if it was actually done. I'm just throwing some
No, I love it. This is one of the best ideas I've ever heard, because if you want to vanish, like if 2 people want to vanish, and then get knocked down go for it. But if you don't want to, you don't have to participate in that mini game.
Yeah, just stop the attack and maybe block.
Reset to neutral.
Or even reset to neutral, or better yet, imagine, okay, I have a skill point. I want to put myself in more of an advantageous situation. I could cancel my attack, do a perception counter by using a skill, and then there we go. I'm putting myself in the driver's seat in a different way. It would mix things up at least.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. That's one of the best things I've ever heard. And then the 4th point is nerf ultimate damage.
Definitely. I mean, like, at least nerf it enough to the point where that one move isn't going to determine the fight. Because, see, the issue with this game is every character has their own stats. I'm not saying that one person's ultimate shouldn't be stronger than the other, but some of them could be scaled down a bit to the point where the deciding factor isn't always a damn ultimate.
I do like what you said for sure. And another thing I was thinking was, if you're not going to nerf the ultimate damage, because like let's look at SSJ4 Gogeta, right? It's like 20,000 to 25,000 points, right? And he gets a buff and stuff like that when he sparks and awakens. And it's like, okay, if you're not going to nerf that, that's 2.5 life bars. Okay? Some people have 3 life bars, so you just kill them.
Yeah, so they're already fucked.
They're already fucked. So what I want to see is either you nerf the damage, which a lot of you probably don't want to see, and I understand, lore accuracy, right? Fine. What you need to do then, if you don't want to nerf that ultimate damage, is you need to make it a lot harder for them to get to that point where they're going to hit you with the ultimate. So like if they have, if they're fusing into a stronger character, it's like make that a little bit more difficult to pull off. Because even if you want lower accuracy, do you remember a lot of the fusions? A lot of the times when he was fighting Janemba, Goku, and Vegeta, they've kept
They had to do
failing at the
the
fusion. They turn into the fat guy, the skinny guy, the old guy, whatever, right? They turn into different things. It takes them a long time. They're running for their lives, and it takes them a really long time to get that fusion right.
oh lower accuracy.
Lower accuracy, Senzu Bean full
But
health from 1
yeah,
HP to 3 bars.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like you see what I'm saying? Like maybe don't have it so like they just it's super accessible. Like they have to really
Yeah.
earn it. It's the risk and reward. It's like if I do something in Sparking Zero, I feel like there's a 9 out of 10 chance that I'm gonna get it. Right? It's
Yeah.
not like it's a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, right? It's like a 9 out of 10. You're just gonna, and the same thing for the opponent, right? So
Yeah. Or they just make it where the fusions requires all of their skill points.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, kind of, yeah, exactly, like the Senzu Bean idea, right? Where you need to get like 5 or 6 or something. Like 4 is even just too early. Like it's just too fast. But okay, so the fifth one is Android barrier. Barrier needs to be 1 skill count, and the duration of the move needs to last longer. What's your thoughts on that? Or 18? I don't know.
You know what? If
The barrier, right?
I could see where he's going with that, especially if Android. I'm assuming 17.
Yeah, it's the
'Cause I
boy,
know
right?
17 has the barrier. Yes.
Yeah.
I could kind of see why they would want that because of the simple fact that, well, androids are tougher to use because they can't charge ki like every other character.
Yeah.
So I mean, to give them a little more of a buff to a certain skill would be helpful to that character in particular, because he would have a tough time.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I kind of like the barrier idea. I do. It doesn't. You don't have to go crazy with it, but you can make it last a little bit longer, or maybe a few
Just
seconds
a little
longer.
bit more
Make it absorb a little bit more and stuff like
character.
that, or nullify a little bit more damage. Because I did notice that too. Like I felt like 18, Android 18, and I don't know. I think she has it, and I don't think I was able to really get much out of it at all. It was a very small window of opportunity. I could be wrong, but that seems like a good idea to me.
It's a fair idea because it's tougher to play with androids anyway. Like I said, they can't go into sparking as easily as all these others, especially since dashing takes ki away. You see what I mean there? Those short dashes?
Yeah.
It's really hard to use specials with androids due to that very fact.
You know what? I think unless you're running away, you probably don't even need dashes and mobility options to take any ki. Because, like, that's the real issue, right? Is, like, if people just use the ki to run, maybe even take more away than what you have now, like, at a higher rate. But if you're, like, dashing in, just, like, you're both dashing in. Like, you want to get to the fight. That kind of makes more sense to me, but I don't know.
Kind of like a negative penalty.
Yeah, like, okay, like, let it take away for if you're stalling and if you're running. But if you're engaging, just get in there. Yeah, just get in there.
They kind of do that with the Guilty Gear games, where it's a negative penalty for, like, being very passive. So I see where you're going with that. So what's the next one?
Number 6, Super Counter needs to be frame 1 reaction mechanic.
Frame 1. But isn't it already that?
I don't think it is.
Because, like, the Super Counter is usually on hit. So I mean,
yeah, but when you press it though, like it's not instantaneous.
Wait. Okay, where? All right, hold up. How is he talking about? Shrink the window even more?
No, I think he means
or
like
make it wider.
I think he's saying make it wider and make it start up sooner, but I could be wrong.
Now I would say this. I feel like the super counter is fine where it is, but if anything, I feel like the hitboxes need to be adjusted more than anything, because the hitboxes in this game is pretty shit. because I noticed that there were times where people you would super counter, right? I remember when I was practicing super countering offline.
Yeah,
And the moment the fist went through my character was the moment I had to press the super counter.
I
So
see.
it's like the hitbox is just not all that consistent to me. It's just very odd.
Maybe just give it a little bit of more leeway, but still make it challenging and skill based.
I feel like it already is, but
So you're
it's
saying it
hard to
is
tell online.
okay. So you're saying offline it's fine, it's perfect, but online it's not working as intended.
There's no way for it to work as intended unless everyone's connection is like
Perfect.
stable. You know
Yeah,
what I
which
mean?
it
Like it
isn't.
comes
Which
down
it
to
isn't.
stability.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those rare occurrences where it's really good between both parties, but
Yeah.
sometimes it could be bad. You could super counter against one person, but then you play against someone else and you just can't do anything.
I'm
You
100%
know.
there with you. That I have the same experience. So that happens to me. That happened to me quite a bit. So the other one, this is number 7, and I don't know how I feel about this. It says nerf all around damage.
Nerf all around damage.
It's kind of a blanket. I that just
I
makes like
mean,
matches draw out faster, right? Like longer, right?
if
You kind of don't
if
want drawn out
anything,
matches.
yeah, not this kind of game. I feel like it's fine for what they have. I would say, if anything, if they just do something about how crazy the damage is with some of the alts,
Yeah.
it would be reasonable enough.
But if you make it like more difficult to get to those alts and to get them off, right? Or to make it more
Yeah.
skill based, then that kind of solves that. Because the negative on this is that the matches will take a lot longer time if you nerf all the damage all around to everything. It's like you're already timing out, right? And the
But
matches will
you,
take longer. All you're really doing is
yeah,
making it so the matches take longer and people have more opportunities. Like if you want to create more opportunities, then you have to actually just balance the neutral and the fighting game mechanics. Like the thing is,
yeah.
this is way too generic and it doesn't really do anything. This is the one point I don't really like, but
But how about this though? There is one thing there could be one thing that we can take out of that. Now, if there's one thing that could be nerfed, is the overall damage of the super counters.
oh yeah.
Now, that is something that could be adjusted to where it doesn't take so much health, because it takes a nice little slither every time you get hit with a super counter.
And that's perfectly fine. I think maybe that could work out, and that's probably a good idea. But I mean, he's just saying nerf all around every single thing.
Now that no,
Super
that
counters,
doesn't
key
work. Now
blast, ultimates,
if
punching,
it's something,
combos,
yeah,
combos. Why would you nerf
right. If it
combos? Like what?
at least nerf key blast, the damage of key blast and
Yeah,
super counters. That
key
would be
blasts and
perfect.
super counters, I think would be good. That's a whole video on its own, you know. So
Yeah.
after number 8, after image strike needs to be nerfed time wise. So I don't know
So
exactly what it is. It's like 12 or 14 or 15 seconds or something like that around that time. But someone had said that it's 5 vanishes. Or, you know, so.
you know what there is one that is time based, and there's one where basically it's kind of like they get so many vanishes, right?
Yeah.
So after image strike, if I'm not mistaken, is one where the technique lasts for actual 15 seconds. Like
I
during
thought
that
so.
15 seconds,
Yeah.
you automatically dodge any attack. That's what after image strike is.
Okay.
And I believe the other one is where they get so many vanishes.
Yeah,
Right.
see, I haven't explored that fully, but I know that
It
the one
gets
with I think the
confusing
one with
sometimes.
Vidal is the one where it's like 15, about 15 seconds, and you just kind of vanish everything, it seems. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really know the specifics there. I guess there's maybe two different ones. Kind of how like there's two or three different paralysis or paralyzing options, right? Where
yeah.
one is like 5 seconds and one is three. Like Piccolo has the lower one at around three, and then Chaotsuru, Tien's buddy there, has like 5 seconds, and it's just all the difference in the world that he can do so much in that 5 seconds, and it's just not quite long enough for Piccolo in 3 seconds, or so.
Right.
He needs like an extra second or two to actually really get the value there, and it just doesn't make sense to me that there's these different options. But
Yeah, just like how, let's give you an example. Wild Sense
yeah, that's a
is
good one.
kind of like another one of those kind of instant teleportation moves, but with that one, it's like you will automatically dodge whatever attack it is and
And then you
then
counter.
strike the opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
But
an
you
automatic
only get
counter, which is
one.
crazy. Yeah, that's true, but it
Yeah.
is automatic confirmed, so basically you become
Yeah, it
untouchable.
is. Yeah, for that one
Does that even
moment. So
time
it's
out?
like,
I don't think that even has a time to it, does it?
I don't believe it does. I think with that one, you just dodge whatever's coming at you,
Yeah.
and then you just strike. So it's almost like one of those moves where you might want to save it as a get out of jail free if somebody uses an instant sparking or some shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And they try to go for like the big alt. You could use that to save yourself. There's many ways those people would try to use that. Because I usually try to save if I know the character I'm using has something like that. I try to save that when somebody instants, so that like they can't just screw me over with a damn ultimate, and I could stall for time, until the sparking dissipates.
Yeah, so it says here, Afterimage Strike is one of the most powerful skills in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It costs three cost skill that many low DP cost characters have that essentially makes them untouchable with basic melee attacks, and even the most powerful blast attacks for 15 seconds. Better still, it has no visible tell or activation and virtually no drawbacks at all. That's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah, it was pretty strong. It's pretty
But then
strong,
someone
that
says
one
that there's
is.
5 only. Now, I don't know if it's like I always thought it was just 15 seconds. That's what it said in the description when I looked at Vidal's like the description of her
Unless that's
abilities.
just unless that's just how long it would last. So let's say they activate the skill, they have this ability, and it lasts for 15 seconds. So if they've used it, you want to try to hold out for 15 seconds, and once that 15 seconds is up, they can't use it anymore. It's gone.
Hmm,
Maybe that's how it works. I gotta look more into it myself. I
interesting.
get them mixed up sometimes.
So number 9, Z burst dash needs to be less rewarding in neutral. In neutral.
I'm assuming they're referring to the dash where they can automatically like get behind you from long distances. It's the one where you like just completely just like blitz them, like you get right behind them,
Yeah.
immediately. No matter where you are, you're just gonna fly all the way over, all the way over to them from behind.
I see. So he wants it to be less of an automatic mechanic and more of something, yeah, that just doesn't work for you and that plays the game for you, kind of thing. Like it's too easy. He's saying Z
Hmm.
burst dashes are basically too easy, or it has to be less rewarding and neutral. I don't know how you would make it less rewarding.
Honestly, I don't see it that rewarding if somebody sees it coming. Because most people, they telegraph that pretty quick. They telegraph that a lot,
Yeah.
especially depending on the situation. Like, let's say, for example, those people that love their max instant sparking. You can automatically guess that the moment that they activate instant sparking, they're going to go for that Z dash, and then they're going to Z dash behind you and immediately attack you. And the best thing you could do is just get the fudge out of there. You either do a backside step or just like use your own dragon dash to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, I think people are doing a pretty good job of countering it already. So
It
I don't
took
think,
me a while, but I'm doing better. I'm getting better
yeah,
at that. It's mainly
predicting it
if
and then count and then
yeah.
putting a counter option in.
Yeah, you just gotta look for it. Like if you're not looking for it, or you're using a skill that leaves you open, then yeah, you're going to get caught.
Okay, you're gonna like this one, number 10. Slow down skill count build up for characters who have a instant sparking ability, so instant sparking
Oh
isn't
yes.
abused.
Oh yes, please. Yes, yes, yes. You are not wrong about because 50% of the people that play this game always relies on instant sparking all the time. Once you see that they got like 2 to 3 bars, you better stay on their ass. Like really, because they're looking to use it. Yep. So I agree with that
Yeah, I think
wholeheartedly.
that's a pretty good fix. Another good fix is one we mentioned before, where there's a way to increase the interruption window, so don't make it as easy to awaken, and then and or you if you do get interrupted, you lose half of your skill points. It's a very
Oh
similar
yeah,
thing.
we've been talking
Yeah, we've
about
been
that a
talking about
lot.
that. So
Yeah.
you can either change the rate of the skills, or you can do what we suggested. Both will work, and both would be give different results, but kind of solve for the same issue. And I think the game would play
Yeah.
completely differently if you did either one, right?
Oh
So it would be
yeah.
interesting. It would be interesting.
Especially if you take all the skill points that they consume to use that.
Yeah,
That
for
would be
sure.
lovely.
Number 11, the recovery options need to be more fluent, like in BT3.
You know what? Now that I think about it, the recovery options does feel very stiff. It really does. It feels awfully stiff to
Yeah,
me.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
I would say the only exception that I really like about Sparking is your ability to recover off walls and instantly get in there. But as far as being in the air and you get knocked down, yeah, that's kind of ass. Or like they could make that a lot smoother. Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that would be nice because that would make it harder for them to max sparking if the recovery was more smooth. Because
Yeah,
you can
no.
recover
So
faster and get
basically,
back
like a
in there.
rebound that we have in connections, that thing in
Kind of like
sparking.
a better rebound. Yeah,
Yeah,
a smoother, more fluent rebound because it just feels stiff.
yeah, I do agree.
I
Like
agree with
sometimes
that.
it works as intended, and other times it's not working. Okay, so the other one is number 12. Rush supers shouldn't be able to hit the player if they laid on the ground.
For intensive purposes of fairness, I can agree with that. I
Yeah,
mean, like, because, here's the thing. It would make sense to be able to get hit by some kind of blast when you're on the ground, but a rush attack on the ground, I'm not so much of a fan of.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about being on the ground for that long. I think, maybe there is a limited time frame for the kind of damage you can do on the ground, right? Like,
Like maybe like the damage gets scaled or
yeah, that
something.
like maybe like the damage should be scaled on the ground. So even if you super them, it does like 5,000 damage or 4,000 damage instead of like 20 or 15. That would be kind of funny and interesting, where, yeah, I kind of like that damage scaling because I feel like that works fairly well in connections, in Archstorm connections, and it works fairly well in other games. And so what would that allow you to do? It would allow you to. Well, there's two options. One, you could just like go deeper into the damage scaling, or have more damage, or have damage scaling activate when you're on the ground. And then another one would be like, there's so much damage you can take, and then you just pop up off the ground and you have invincibility frames. That would be interesting.
Oh yeah, that actually wouldn't be too bad. Like invisibility frames, I could see that.
Yeah, some
I
invincibility
could see
frames.
that.
So like
Yeah, that
it's in.
wouldn't
I,
hurt
I
too
do
bad.
like the idea of like attacking on the ground, but I mean being there for like like an entire day while
Cause of
somebody's
how
punching you.
stiff yeah, that's pretty damn stiff. Yeah, there should be something along those lines. I would be fine with that.